team has banned out Soraka, Tristana, and Morgana. I don't agree with the Soraka ban. I think that she's good. She's not that bad by any means, but definitely not worthy of a ban. If I was banning it, I would probably say ban out Kha'Zix in that slot, or Lucian in that slot, or a number of other picks that are just very good in the current solo queue meta. And I just don't think Soraka is really worth that ban slot. Morgana, I understand why people ban it. It's definitely a strong support still, but I think it's outclassed. Nami is better. Thresh is a little better. Janna's better. I think that Morgana is still a strong support, but definitely like a tier 2, so probably not worth the ban unless it directly counters your team comp. Tristana I agree with though, even though it's a little bit nerfed. Ryze ban, Akali ban, and Yasuo ban. Ryze, I understand, definitely a strong top laner. Akali, very frustrating in solo queue, and she is gaining some popularity. And of course Yasuo, people like to take out of games. Yasuo's only big threat though if he has a good pairing, so like a Wukong, a Janna, something to initiate with that knockup. J4 being a fantastic example of someone who works well with Yasuo. So if you're banning out Yasuo, it's saying I don't want to deal with this team comp. To me anyways, that's what it says, more so than I don't want to deal with this champion. So that's fine, but I want to point out why people are banning the Yasuo. It's not usually because they're scared of the champion, it's because they're scared of the team comp. And that's something to keep in mind in solo queue. For example, if you don't want to deal with an AoE lockdown comp, you'll probably ban something like Amumu, right? Not because Amumu is the absolute most terrifying jungle that you will ever see, but if the bans on the enemy team or your team comp that you're proposing doesn't really do well versus that AoE lockdown, you're probably going to take out that Wukong or the Amumu, or you're going to take out one key point of that team comp to try and force them away from picking it. Or you're going to pick something that counters it, like a Janna, or something that can disengage it before they all wombo in. In terms of the rest of the picks, Blue Team has picked up a Sivir with a Nami. Sivir's not seen that often, but she's definitely stronger than a lot of people think. Nami is the quintessential support right now. I would say she's the best support in the game at the moment. Jarvan Jungle, amazingly strong. Not Loki. Aurelia top is another amazingly strong pick. And Victor mid, which I would say is great. So Blue Team's comp is very, very good just in terms of overall synergy. They have the J4 knock-up into the Nami knock-up or stun, followed by the Victor burst. So those three are going to pair off very, very nicely. Sivir is then free to Boomerang Blade or use her Ricochet across that to try and add in more AoE. And Aurelia can be a split-pushing monster or an assassination monster if, let's say, Vayne becomes a huge threat or Kha'Zix becomes a huge threat, just by stunning them out and dueling or cleaning up after the fight. So overall, I would say their team comp is very, very solid. While I don't think I don't think Sivir might not necessarily be the best pick in this comp, I think she will work well with it. Jinx would be another option in this same comp where you have the AoE, you have the lockdown with your traps and the slow, and it would work very, very well with it. But there's nothing wrong with this pick by any means. On the split side, it looks like they're doing a Lulu support with a Vayne AD carry. That's going to take a while to scale up. I would definitely say that Sivir has the advantage in that lane with Nami because they have the sustain, they have the early bullying potential, and I just think they're a little bit stronger in the early game, but Vayne definitely can scale up and become a dueling god. A lot of pressure on her, though, to actually pull that off, and they don't necessarily have a lot of lockdown to make that happen. Kha'Zix is another great jungler right now, great at assassination, picks, and ganks, but not necessarily as good in overall team fights, like large 5v5 matches. So that's something to watch out for. Gangplank, similar idea. Strong early game, but he really has to snowball off of it. His dueling is strong, his team fights are okay, but it's not like they have that AoE lockdown to really make that Vayne shine. So I'm going to definitely have to worry about that Vayne a bit. If Lulu is an incredibly good player, she may be able to set up a lot of these plays by using her polymorph, her slow, her shielding, anything she can do to try and keep that Vayne safe and to try and continue her dominance in this game. Orianna is amazing to try and set this up as well because they have the Orianna Kha'Zix ball delivery system, then Lulu ult on top of that, double knock-up, a lot of damage going in, as well as the Gangplank ult dropping on top of it. So it's not as though they have a bad team fight, it's simply that they're outclassed in terms of lockdown and overall just wombo combo, essentially, where if Blue Team lands a combo, they've won the fight. Whereas if Purple Team lands a combo, there's still a lot of pressure on them to clean up that fight and to play mechanically perfect after the initial engage. So I would give a slight advantage over to Blue Team here, just because I think their team is a little bit more consistent and maybe just a little bit better. But overall, neither team has glaring issues. I'm excited to see the Gangplank and what he decides to build, seeing as Gangplank is a very versatile champion. He can go sort of tanky, he can go on hit, he can go crit. There's a lot of things that he can do. While we're loading in here, if you guys have any comments or questions about this team or the game in general, feel free to ask and we'll try and answer those. I see there is something in chat saying we banned out Yasuo because we banned Ryze and we didn't want to give up the lane to the comp. Okay, so yeah, Ryze does pretty well versus Yasuo, or has the potential to. So basically you're saying you guys couldn't pick Ryze, and so you didn't want to deal with Yasuo. I don't know. I would say that's a fine decision, and I have no problem with it. But saying we had to ban Yasuo because we banned Ryze doesn't quite compute to me. There's plenty of champions that can deal with Yasuo. Oh yeah, the Warrior Princess splash art is bad, but the in-game looks good. It's Xena. How can you go wrong with that? Split pushing doesn't seem to work in Silver, though. Your team never seems to be taking advantage of the pressure you create. Okay, so you need to go more offensive split pushing then. You're going for kills, or you're going for towers. Even if you die, if you take the objective, then you're fine. I would also suggest make sure that you're communicating to the team how split pushing works, what you're trying to accomplish, and how they can build an advantage off of it. They might not listen, but communication is key if you're going to go for that route. Okay, we are into game here. Gonna try and line up all these champions for you because you guys get very upset if I don't do that. Okay. Who's the best jungler and AD carry right now? There's never any best character, but I would say Lucian and Tristan are probably some of the most potent, consistent AD carries. Jinx and Caitlyn are also very, very strong. Kog'Maw is situational but very powerful, and past that is really personal preference. For jungle, I think J4 and Vi and Kha'Zix are some of the best junglers, but so's like Amumu, Rammus, all of the tank junglers are still very potent. You're trying to learn how to play Vayne better. Any tips? Okay, my biggest complaint with Vayne players is they don't know their limits. I don't like Vayne. I don't think she's that good in solo queue by any means. But if you want to play Vayne, your biggest issue is going to be, first of all, managing your triple attack, right? You need to auto-attack, immediately tumble to cancel the animation, auto-attack again, and then auto-attack as you retreat, essentially. So that's sort of your quote-unquote burst or trade combo in lane. But that's the first thing you need to master in lane, right? You need to be able to not be a pushover in lane, and that relies on using your tumble effectively for animation canceling and for triple attack trades. Your second issue is knowing your limits, making sure that you are staying way the hell out of a team fight and hitting a tank. You're not going to be able to kill their AD carry, you're not going to be able to kill their mid, you're going to be hitting the Malphite who's running at you. It's going to be very difficult to do, but you have enough mobility in your kit and you have enough dueling potential that that's your best course of action. There are some exceptions to that, but my complaint is when Vaynes are like, oh my god, you guys landed some CC, let's say in this bush here on their front line. Let me tumble past it to try and hit their back line in this bush here. Well, they're going to then jump on you and you're going to die immediately. Vayne is only useful if she's staying alive and landing a combo. That is also a good point. Yes, you can use walls to cancel your tumble animation to auto-attack even faster. So the second you auto-attack, let's say you were here, you would tumble into the wall and then auto-attack again, step up a step, and then auto-attack again for the third attack. So that way you're always staying at max range from them so that they're not engaging onto you. Alright, so pretty much what I expected him to go. Flask is pretty much required on Gangplank because he runs out of mana so fast. The thing is, though, they changed it so that Gangplank's Q gives him a lot of the mana back if he last hits with it, and he gets bonus gold from it. So the question is, are you going to be able to bully Aurelia out of lane using your Q? And the answer in this case is no. She has a cloth armor and 5 potions. So she's going to drop to about half health. She should start potioning now, actually. Alright, so I'm not sure why she's not potioning, but yeah, what are you doing there? If you're going that full potion build, okay. Flash auto ignite would have killed him, but he's going teleport, isn't he? Yeah, okay, so regardless, I think that he should be focusing on farm more so, but Aurelia did not potion early enough, so she actually lost that on her own. Yeah, I would actually turn that into a farm lane if I was them. Back in mid lane, Victor, Orianna, standard build, Doran's double potions. even in CS here. I would expect to see you using your auto attack as part of that. You step up, Q, immediately auto, reposition, then cast your laser if they're running towards you as you run away, or use it as they run backwards away from you in a predictable manner. That's usually the combo I go for level 2-3 trades. I have also started recommending taking W at level 3, only because the extra damage you get on your E at level 3 usually will not set up a kill, but the safety provided from the W will definitely save you if there's a jungle gank or if they try and play aggressive. So I just think it's a better option. You see Kha'Zix try and come in onto Jarvan, does not connect with the jump or the spikes, and it's just start walking in, so I would back out on this. If anything, you can maybe proxy the wave. Down in bot lane, Sivir versus Vayne. Vayne is actually out farming Sivir, which is a little shocking to me. I want to see how Nami is playing this. I want to see Nami up in their face poking them down. You guys have a sustained advantage, so any trade that you get that does not go massively in purple team's favor is going to work out for you, because you're going to heal back up. They are not. You want to burn through their potions, take them down as low as you can, and set things up from there. I would critique, though, I don't like the ward start on Nami. I think you'd be better off going full potions so that you can manage that trade and make sure that you have enough mana. I would go 3 biscuits, 1 mana pot, personally. Alright, bubble not quite connecting. Utility tree Sivir. Yeah, I'm assuming she's 2109 to pick up the biscuits there. I don't really agree with it. I think you'd be better off going defense, but it's possible she wants that extra mana, she wants the extra sustain in order to try and just become a split pusher. So for me, I want to see Nami standing more in this area, not necessarily next to the wall, sorry. I want to see her standing up by minions, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, constantly poke them down. Personally, I run AD reds on my Nami, so that my auto attacks are doing that much more damage. Usually, your trade is going to boil down to auto attack, W, auto attack while repositioning, and if they continue trading in that, you're going to throw a bubble, allowing your team to re-engage with your E on your AD carry at that point. Would a tumble E, W stun be a good trade or kill secured? Okay, so basically, yes. Okay, so you want to jump in on that. Unfortunately, J4 was not able to land the full combo thanks to the polymorph. Okay, so what I want to see Vayne doing, as you said, is let's say Nami was standing next to this. You would walk here, auto attack, tumble forward, E, auto attack, auto attack. Lulu would combo on top of that, and you would either kill them or get a huge amount of damage advantage on that play. But on Nami's side, she should be winning this lane almost single-handedly, just with her zoning and poke potential, and that's just not what we're seeing here. So, as a result of how passive this lane is going, I'm probably going to switch back over to mid. Looks like Kha'Zix is maybe setting something up here. Alright, so they bully her out. Victor is up about 10 CS. I'm actually a little surprised. Orianna is a very good last hitter, so I would expect to see her going even at least in this lane. Alright, so there's the damage from Victor. He already has his augment, just bursting this Kha'Zix down. Kha'Zix, you need to leave, because 1E ignite alt, or Q auto E ignite actually would be enough, you wouldn't even need it. There it is, and that's the kill over to Victor. It was a little flashy, I don't think he had to flash for that kill, but it worked out, so I'm fine with it. Yeah, when you're that low level, when you're that low health, staying there isn't doing very much to you, so you're taking needless risks, and that's something I see a lot of junglers do in especially lower elos. Alright, so Gangplank is out of mana up in top lane. In terms of farm, he's actually down about 10 CS versus Aurelia. That's not good for him. Aurelia still has a potion too. Alright, so they steal away this blue buff. Ooh, that's really, really nice. Nice pick up there. And then disengage with his W. Good job. Alright, so we see J4 coming around. He does not have mana, so they're not going to set up a gank there. In the meantime, Kha'Zix tries to go in mid. Nothing going to happen though. Someone's mentioning that they probably are down farm because Victor's pushing. Yes, but Aurelia should be able to even out that wave by just constantly auto-attacking it. Her auto-attacks do a hell of a lot of damage. And her Q is a pretty good wave clear. You don't have to use your full combo to wave clear, just use it to get the minions low, and then auto-attack to finish them off. So they have the ward on the enemy blue buff here. Looks like they're going to try and go for a counter steal. That's a very dangerous prospect, though, because J4 engage into a Victor combo is death. You're not going to be able to win that trade. So I want to see them thinking twice about this. I mean, he's not even level 6 yet. Instin, if you're looking for some work, I would suggest private messaging Felverick. He manages all of the art for the stream. Alright, so Kha'Zix again trying to get in onto J4's jungle. I'm surprised that J4 doesn't turn around and just try and kill him, preferably trying to bring Victor in on that trade. This bot lane is so uneventful, it makes me very sad. Victor's destroying mid in terms of CS at this point, and it should continue to go that way. Once you get your E augment on Victor, no one can stop you from farming. If they're stopping you from farming, you're probably out of position, or they're sending like 5 people mid, and you're still messing up. Alright, so Vayne's still slightly ahead, but pretty much even in bot lane. So we do see that the blue team is definitely landing some poke, but it's not amounting to anything. They're not zoning off of it, they're not killing off of it. I definitely want to see that worked on. Also, I want to point out, I didn't mention it earlier, Nami went coin. Don't do that. You want a Frost Queen's Claim. Frost Queen's Claim lets you pretty much guarantee your stuns land, because the slow on it is so very potent. The second reason is because your job in lane is to auto-attack harass. So therefore you're getting more gold, you're getting a lot more damage on your trades, because that's like 15 damage every time you do a full trade with them. And that's pretty significant in the early mid game. So I just think that a Talisman on Nami just is not a good choice in this. That all did not make sense. There was no chance of you finishing off the kill, and Kha'Zix wasn't quite here. What I would have done is waited till Kha'Zix was here. This is when you could have ulted and tried to set something up. In the meantime, though, Victor Burst combined with the red buff and damage from J4 here finishes off the kill on Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix just staying shut down, unfortunately. He's just not able to do too much. If I were him, I'd focus on another lane. You're not going to be able to shut down this Victor. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so Dragon... I'm trying to think here. Blue team should definitely be trying to force a Dragon. They need to... Excuse me, they need to clear out the pink ward here and rotate around. Once Victor's ult's up, any skirmishes in jungle, Dragon Pit, anything like that, combine that with J4, it's a free kill. Like, any team fight that's going to happen there is going to go in their favor. So that would be highly recommended. Get that global gold, continue their dominance in terms of the gold lead here, and just go from there. Yeah, someone commenting on Victor having great farm. He does, and I don't want to diminish that by any means because he's doing very well, but it's Victor. You one-shots the wave, no one can stop you from farming. So that's one of Victor's main strengths right now, is you get farm. It's not a question. Why did Vayne get BF? I do not know. Looks like... Oh, she's doing a Bloodthirster rush. No, Vayne, don't do that. On Vayne, you want a Blade of the Ruin King rush in most cases. Yeah, Bloodthirster, no. It's just not a good rush. You need the attack speed on Vayne, and you need the dueling potential. Alright, so here comes the J4 knockup, flashes out, but immediately gets ulted by J4, and it really picks up the kill. Very nice teamwork there. I appreciate him waiting on the flash. He was already in range, there was no real risk to it, right? But once the flash is down, boom, free kill. You know they can't escape from it. This should be a kill here. The polymorph lands, heal goes through from Sivir, but doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You could have played that a little bit smoother though there, Vayne. I'm going to rewind and point out where the resets needed to happen. Oops, I rewinded a little too much. Alright, so Sivir's trying to defend 1v2. You see Vayne coming around. Auto E immediately. You didn't auto first, so that's your first issue there. You need to move between each auto attack. You're waiting much longer than you need to between each one, and it's not a huge issue, but it's something you definitely need to work on if you're going to play Vayne. So you flash forward instead of down across the wall. That was the second issue. You want to auto. Hey, you canceled your auto there. Yeah, and again, you're waiting a long time. It doesn't matter though, your tumble comes up. Basically, you just need to move between your autos and make sure you're canceling the animations properly. That's one of the biggest things you have to do as a Vayne player. See now though, purple team is locked up. The bubble lands from Nami. Victor's coming around from behind, but I don't even know if he's going to get here in time. No, with the exhaust, they're going to live long enough. Victor can now... where is it? Alright, so he ulted without Eing. He then had to flash forward, then E'd, and is going to be able to pick it up. You want to reposition your ult while this is going on. What I would have done is led with E and then immediately ulted. The ult has a significant cast time, whereas E does not interrupt really anything. So you can E and then immediately ult. Hell, you can overlap your Q on it. Q, E, alt, auto, flash over if you feel the need, or W, do what you need to do, but that could have been played a little bit smoother. I would not suggest rushing Bloodthirster on Jinx. You should be rushing Infinity Edge on Jinx. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. She has a BF sword, but then she's also going towards, like, she has her cutlass. Kind of odd. Let's take another quick peek up the top, but anytime I look there, it's pretty much just Aurelia survives lane. Gangplank can't do too much. It's unfortunate for him. But as you can see, her Trinity Force is finished. This is her big power spike. Nice work there. Alright, so I want to point out what she did. It's... Actually, I was after the fight. Alright, so Kha'Zix is able to jump in, lands a lot of damage. I want to see him ult through these minions. Alright, you could have caught up a lot easier there. Okay, Gangplank misses his Q. Not ideal. So what I would like to see is Kha'Zix could have ulted, run through the minions because it does not block movement anymore, then auto Q spike ult again to walk past her and repeat the combo. In the meantime, Gangplank could have chased using his E, walk forward Q, walk forward auto Q, auto, etc, etc. Just a little bit unfortunate there. Also, I want to point out what Aurelia did, then we'll rewind and watch the fight before. She jumps to a minion that's low enough health that it resets her jump, right? She's then able to immediately stun auto Q auto onto Gangplank, and that's pretty much exactly what you want to see for the combos. So I just want to point that out for people who might not necessarily be as familiar with the champion. Back in bot lane, Nami goes right up to Vayne. Vayne decides to try and fight it. Bubble lands across. Stun goes on to Victor, but the gravity field does drop in time. J4 goes in. Kill goes over to Sivir, and Victor... Ooh, that's a lot of damage, but not going to do enough damage. You need to reposition your ult again. I do the same thing. It's not like I'm saying, oh my god, you're trash, why aren't you repositioning your ult? But it is a lot of damage just from the sustained DPS, so I would like to see you working on that a bit more. Alright, and that's going to be a free tower over to them. They should then immediately cycle over to Dragon. There it is. The ward's on it, but purple team's not going to be able to stop it by any means. Victor just goes over, picks up his CS. His ult is 50 seconds, but is the CC gonna land? There's the J4 combo. Flash goes through, flash comes from J4, auto, free kill. Aurelia onto Kha'Zix. This should be a free kill for Aurelia. I don't see this being a problem. That being said, she is low on mana. Kill ends up going over onto Victor. Now he has double buffs. He is 3-0-4 with 156 CS by 16 minutes. Great job, dude. Alright, we're just gonna fast forward this a bit. Want to catch up to live. Alright, let's rewind that and watch bot. Sorry, I was grabbing something. So similar thing here. Vayne's gonna jump forward, condemn, auto. Very nice, actually. The exhaust goes across, ult goes across, and that's gonna be a very dead Vayne. I like the thought behind that engage, but the actual mechanics of trying to 2v1 there just wasn't going to happen. He's about to come up here. There we go. So I like the idea of that engage, but again, not quite there with the mechanics, was not able to land the combo. It was a beautiful disengage from Orianna and Lulu, but didn't matter. They overstayed, waited for the E to come back up, and that's a death sentence at that point. On Jinx, would an Infinity Edge and then Shiv build work? You're gonna go Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer. There's no reason to go Shiv on her because her Q already is an AoE. Usually go Shiv if you need that early power spike and you lack in wave clear. That's why Tristana is good with it, because she has no AD scalings, and she's a little bit lacking in wave clear. So a first item Shiv Rush on Trist can be a good option. So I'm still a little confused as to what he's building here. He has a little mix of everything. I do like the Sheen though. Guaranteed damage is awesome. Oh, poor Kha'Zix. He's had such a rough game. Very nice escape from Orianna. I do like the bait attempt though. That was very, very well played. And of course at the end of the day he still gets a kill. Vayne's having a lot of issues with her Condemn, and she continues to get caught out by multiple people and can just feel that she can fight them. That just doesn't happen, and I would really like to see her playing a bit more passive. This is what I mentioned during the pregame, actually, with Vayne's, where Vayne is a fine champion, but you really have to know your limits. You have to play terrified. You do not want to take any risks, really. So her trying to just say, "Hey, I want to kill," and walking in 1v2, 1v3, that sort of thing, and just saying, no, it's cool, I'll play perfectly mechanically, and I'll pick up the kill. Well, maybe you will, but is the risk really worth it? So I want to see her working on that, and just making sure that her decisions are wise. Do not take risks. There's no reason to. Moby boots on J4, it's actually very strong, because he can get into a fight very quickly. J4 ganks are potent, so yeah, definitely a good option. I don't agree with him running. It's like he looked at it and said, oh, there's a Gangplank ult, let's not chase. It doesn't matter, Aurelia does pick up a double kill, very, very nice for her. But instead of running back and forth through the Gangplank ult, you could have just kept chasing. I mean, J4 was already on the target. Worst case scenario, J4 starts retreating towards you, and then you can cover his retreat with a stun or damage. Vayne split pushing out bot, trying to farm things out. This is what I would like to see from her, actually. I want to see her split pushing as best she can, pulling her way back into the game. I would like to see that a lot more early, rather than trying to constantly fight and assassinate and pick up kills that way. Just pick up CS. Just pray your team can hold out a little bit longer, and try and scale yourself into the game. Dragon is up. Blue team seems to have the timer down, and they're going right to it. Very, very nice. Communication coming out from blue team seems to be very good. They're all sort of on the same page in terms of their plays, for the most part. And their rotations have been pretty damn spot on, is what I would say. Alright, so it looks like he is going towards a full-on hit build with a Tiamat and Sheen. Interested to see what he goes from there. Iceborne Gauntlet, Static Shiv, Hydra. Like, I've seen some effective on-hit builds like that, but we'll wait and see what he goes for. I prefer to see like an Infinity Edge if he was going to go towards that, because Crit Blank OP. Yeah, she just has no attack speed items. Infinity Edge, Build Water Cutlass with no attack speed and no boots. I would also point out, attack speed on an AD carry is a survivability stat, because it allows you not only to output more damage, but it allows you to be more mobile, because you should be always canceling your auto attacks and moving between them. So having a faster auto attack animation means you're locked in the same place for less time while you're attacking, meaning you can dodge more effectively and not get hit. So attack speed on Vayne, it's not damage. Well, it is, obviously. But it's not about the damage so much as the survivability and mobility. And she just took blue buff. Nice. I don't like seeing that in solo queue. Like, just let them do the buff. You don't have to help. All you're doing is risking a misplay. Alright, there's Frost Queen Clean coming out from... Whew, nice tidal wave. Only connects on one, though. Beautiful ult disengaging that fight. Victor's coming around, though. You guys are going to have a tough time trying to hold this. Lulu has no mana left to do anything, nor does Orianna. So really, it's on Gangplank and Vayne to try and hold this, and I just don't see that happening. Aurelia, in the meantime, takes a... Oh my goodness. Vayne, you're not going to be able to do that. I feel so bad for you, but no. Aurelia's just wrecking their base at the moment. Orianna does go back to try and defend. In the meantime, they are going to get the kill on... Oh... Just the J4 and Victor combo is just beautiful. I love watching it in play. Do you have any supporting tips? I would suggest watching our Nami guide. I go over a lot of tips for her. Yeah, just the J4 lockdown and damage potential combined with Victor's burst it's so beautiful. I love it. Alright, so this is pretty much game here. Apparently Kaz got mad and muted everyone. That's actually a good thing. If people are upsetting you and it's making you play worse or you're getting angry over it, mute everyone. Doesn't matter. You do not need to worry about it. You simply just mute people and play your best. I'm not defending his gameplay or his attitude problems that may have existed, but recognizing that you are getting upset and taking steps to counteract that is a mature decision. I'm not saying he is playing in a mature way. I'm simply saying, oh my god, he muted everyone. Well, that's not a bad thing. I would expect this to be the final push here. Victor ult is ready, Ignite is ready, Flash is not up, but J4 lockdown ready to go. Okay. Yeah, you guys need to stop in chat. This is a polite place to get feedback on your gameplay. The idea is you will make mistakes. You will have bad things that you have done in-game. That's why we're here. We're here to try and help you. Insulting other players in our channel is not acceptable, so please move on from that. Is Urgot viable at all for solo queue? Yeah, his top lane is pretty decent. It's situational, but yeah, his top lane is much like a, I think what's the champion name? Never mind, we'll just watch this fight first. Nami only connecting on one person. Beautiful Orianna ult, actually. She's landed some really good ones. She bides her time and then lands a lot of knockdown. Vayne going way too close again, gets shot down very quickly, and blue team should just be able to end the game right now. Okay, sorry, so we're going to go over final comments on this game, and then we'll answer you guys' questions while we're loading into the next one. Okay, so final builds here. J4, I first of all want to compliment a lot of his... sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. I want to compliment a lot of his decision-making and positioning. He was really where he needed to be, landing good combos. So, great job on that. His build is along the lines of what you would expect, but I would have expected a Brutalizer over Last Whisper, simply because the cooldown allows for more ults, more Dragon Flags, that sort of stuff, and it can build into like a Ghost Blade for chasing, not that I'm recommending it, but like you could, or you can build it into a Black Cleaver to shred for Aurelia and Sivir. I've seen a lot of junglers like J4, Kha'Zix, Vi, that sort of thing, use Brutalizer as their one base damage item. Last Whisper, though, in this case, it worked out for him. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I like the decision to go towards Randuin's. Randuin's is fantastic on J4 because you're jumping into the middle of their team, you're locking them in a small area, and then you're slowing down their move speed, attack speed, that sort of stuff with Randuin in that area. So it works perfectly with his ranges and his purpose in games. So good job there. Sivir, I don't like the Bloodthirster Rush. I would like to see Infinity Edge, Static Shiv. I don't know. I've seen a lot of different things on Sivir, but I don't see her played often enough to really give you a 100% fixed build. But I've seen everything from Trinity Force Sivir to Static Shiv Sivir to standard AD carry build Sivir, and they all seem to have some amount of success. So I'm just going to sort of leave it at that and say I don't think Bloodthirster should be rushed, but you did fine with it. Nami, I really wanted to see you poking a lot more. You could have had a lot more influence in lane. Also would like to see a Frost Queen's Claim instead of Nomad's Medallion into Talisman of Ascension. I also don't like Athene's Unholy Grail. I wanted to see a Crucible. Crucible will take out the Lulu Polymorph, the Vayne Stun. It's just going to be a lot of extra safety. It wasn't necessarily needed this game, but generally speaking, Athene's on Nami is not something you build. You want to go towards a Frost Queen's Claim, Crucible, then either a Locket to deal with their AoE, or a... I'm drawing a blank here. Yeah, Locket, and of course Boots Mobility would have been good to ward around. Sorry, I drew a blank on the final item, but generally you want just a lot of utility on Nami rather than Athene's. On Aurelia did really, really well top lane. Unfortunately, we didn't see a completely even matchup. Your roaming was very good, your combos appeared to be good, your decision making appeared to be good, so there wasn't too much advice I could offer, and your build is standard, right? So there's not too much to say about it. Overall, good play. Victor, that's exactly what I build, except I am often going for a Lichbane instead of Hourglass that early. I would like to see the boots upgrade a little earlier so that you could roam around a bit faster, but instead he augmented his Q early so that he could, again, have enough move speed in the fights to make things work. Overall, fantastic job there, perfect farm, great combos. There was some minor issues just in terms of the order you were overlaying some things, maybe some positioning issues, but you did really well, so not too much to say. Kha'Zix, we mentioned in the game that you needed to work on your ganks. A lot of it just boiled down to you overstaying a lane where you couldn't have an effect, or simply not showing up where you needed to be. Kha'Zix has some pretty damn potent ganks, and I would have liked to see those being pulled off. Instead, you just sort of either counter-jungled and fought people you couldn't duel, or you tried to hold a lane that you couldn't really fight, or you just farmed. So I would have liked to see that improved over the next little while. I do like the build overall, though. Hex Drinker is amazing on Kha'Zix, especially with Victor being so fed. Would have worked really well. There were some comments in chat about you muting everyone. Muting people is not a bad thing. Victor is awesome. Sorry, not someone's talking about Victor in chat. Sorry, yeah, hard to read and talk at the same time. Okay, I was talking about Kha'Zix. His early ganks are good. Hex Drinker is really good on him. I think he could have played a little bit better though. And muting people is an awesome decision in solo queue because if you're going on tilt because of what comments they're making, it's going to mute that out and try and allow you to focus in and try and make your own decisions and play well. That being said, being toxic or yelling at people and saying, oh, screw it, I'm muting everyone, that's not necessarily the same course of action. So I don't necessarily agree with that. Vayne, I don't know what you're doing there. I wanted to see a lot more attack speed early. I would like to see a more standard build going something along the lines of Blade of the Ruined King attack speed boots. Then you can go into something like Infinity Edge or Last Whisper. But yeah, I also want to see you farming things out rather than constantly trying to duel people in roles where it was a risky fight at best and a suicide kill at worst. So I really would like to see that worked on. Lulu, you did pretty well. I saw a lot of good combos, some decent positioning in lane, some good harass. Overall, though, it was very difficult to offer too much advice on your gameplay, simply because just because of how the game was going for your team. Unfortunately, things were quite one-sided, and I do apologize for that. We do everything we can to try and even things out, but shit happens. Gangplank, I would like to see you going a little bit more passive farm. Once you saw that Aurelia started with cloth armor and 5 pots, you knew that you weren't going to really be able to poke her out or take her out of the lane too easily. So I would have liked to see you farming things out using your Q for the extra gold and trying to maybe outscale a little bit so that you could duel her during the mid game. Maybe get that early item advantage and push that with maybe some Kha'Zix ganks in order to try and set up some kills. It didn't happen, but it's something that you could have played a little bit differently. Also, your item build's a little bit all over the place. I don't mind the build that you're going for, but I would like to see things either finished or a little bit more decisiveness in whether you're going tank, whether you're going on hit, whether you're going crit plank. It was just a little bit all over the place. Orianna, some really good ults. I really liked those. I want to see you work on your positioning in lane, though, so that you're dodging skill shots a little better. I want to see you working on your farm and your wave management, because you were just getting pushed into the tower and weren't really handling that very efficiently. And I would like to maybe see a little bit better communication with your team. It's hard to tell as a spectator how much you are communicating, but I think that maybe working with the Kha'Zix Lulu double knockup combo, that you would have been able to have a bit more of an effect on the game. Again, hard to say from my position, but I think that could have been improved. Overall, though, I want to thank both of your teams for participating and for playing the game out, even though it was a bit one-sided, and I really appreciate seeing that.